Hi, I'm Jane and thank you so much for joining us. Honestly, this video probably is not going to be very popular, but I'm gonna do it anyways. And the subject matter is living below your means. Even though it's not popular, if you want to change, if you want your life to be different, then that means that we have to change, right? Sometimes it's just for the sake of pride, but we won't live below our means, or we find it difficult to live below our means. And it's, I guess, for the most part, for the sake of appearances, right? I don't know about you, but I never wanted to be fake rich. Meaning I never wanted to be that person who just looked like they had money but didn't actually have money. We as a whole, as human beings, spend way too much time thinking about what other people think about us. And when it comes down to it, other people aren't thinking about us. They're not thinking about you. They're not thinking about me. Why? Because they're thinking about themselves, right? That's what we do as human beings. We think about what other people think about us, but really we're just thinking about ourselves the entire time. So why am I going to, or why would you spend money, right, to impress people that you don't know? Or if you're spending money to impress people that you know, why on earth are you doing that, right? And it's not that I don't care about you if I know you, but I shouldn't feel the need to have to impress you, right? And if I know you and I need to impress you, then I'm kind of over it, right? I hope that you would be too. So if you have money, why not invest it, right? Why not invest it into something that will grow instead of spending it on something that will lose value pretty much as soon as you or I buy it? It's an opportunity cost, right? There's an econ term for you, opportunity cost. So if I spend $100 on shoes or on a trinket, then it's probably going to be in the closet or in the trash 6 months or a year from now. And basically it didn't do anything for you or for me. Versus if I invested it, then a year from now it could be worth $110 or $200. And that's the opportunity cost, right, of buying the trinket or investing the money. You and I, everyone on this earth has a limited amount of time and money. And you have to choose how you divide up this limited resource that you have. And you either decide and you're intentional about it, or the decision gets made for you. The world will choose how your time and money is spent. There is a book called Choosing to Cheat by Andy Stanley. And I ordered it years and years and years ago. And at the time I shared an Amazon account with a friend. So he saw me order the book, Choosing to Cheat, and he called me up and he said, "Are you and James having issues? Are you guys having problems?" And I said, "No, I am not ordering a book that is teaching me how to cheat on my husband." Although the nerd in me probably would order something like that to teach me how to cheat, right? So that book is talking about how we have a limited amount of time to do things. Like, have you ever felt guilty that you're working when you should be spending time with family? Or have you ever felt guilty when you're spending time with family and you should be working on that project? Or, have you ever felt guilty that you're working when you should be self-developing and growing yourself as a human being and, having your me time, right? So it's understanding that everyone feels this dilemma. Everyone feels like it. Like, we all feel like we're cheating somebody, and we feel guilty about it because of that limited time. So the point of his book is that we should be intentional. So we're going to work when our schedule says to work. We're going to be intentional about the time that we spend with our family. And when you do that, you're not going to feel guilty. or really you'll feel less guilty, because we kind of have that habit of feeling guilty right now, but you will feel less and less and less guilty because you're not spending time with family because you're tired of working, or it's a bad day or something like that, right? You're doing it and you set that time aside specifically. So I'm sorry, going back to living below your means, right? I'm not saying that you can't ever treat yourself to something. But what is your overall goal, right? Do you buy that $7 cup of coffee every day or every week? I Googled this, all right? The average person spends $1,400 a year on Starbucks, on coffee. And some people obviously spend more and some people spend less. And I know some of you on here are like, well, I don't drink Starbucks, or I don't buy that much Starbucks. Fine. What is your habit? What is your vice? What is the thing that you do with your money that you know that you do, that you're like, should I be doing this? And I'm not saying that you have to live below your means forever, or at least the way that you're thinking about living below your means forever. Like, if you think about it, if you lived on 40% of your income and you made $40,000 a year and you invested the rest of it, then as your income grows, then you're going to be spending 40% of 100,000, 40% of 280,000, 40% of 850,000, right? So you're kind of always living below your means, but the pot that you are drawing from is going to continue to grow because you're able to invest more of it out there. But your lifestyle will actually grow even though you are still living below your means because of how much you've allowed your income to grow because you've worked for it. So when it comes to living below your means, I guess a kind of extreme example, well, an example from our life, is that when everything crashed in 2008, we had a 4-bedroom house, and we did rent out 3 of the 4 bedrooms on Craigslist to people, and we lived with strangers, right? Because we needed that to pay our bills. We were absolutely broke. We didn't go out to eat. We didn't go on vacation. We didn't buy stuff. I mean, everything was just the bare minimum. It actually boggles my mind. And again, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I promise you, I am not trying to do that. But we didn't go on vacation ever. For like the first 10 years we were together, because in the beginning we were working so hard and we were making money that we were like, we don't have time for vacation, we gotta like go, and then when everything crashed and we didn't have money, we were like, well, we can't go on vacation, we don't have money. And so the first vacation that we ever took was paid for. It was an all expense paid vacation because the company that we work with, if you sold a certain amount of insurance, then they would send you on an all expense paid vacation. It was great, right? So that was our first vacation ever. It was already paid for. And when we went on vacation, we didn't buy souvenirs. Souvenirs are weird to me, right? Like, here's a trinket or something from a vacation that I went on and you didn't. Like, I have nothing against souvenirs. If you love them, I'm not against it. I just don't understand them. But when we were absolutely broke and we went on these all expense paid vacations, we didn't spend extra money, right? I know people who would earn these trips and then they would buy more stuff. And I'm like, why are you buying more stuff? Like, this is a paid for vacation. But people will say that and they'll be like, well, I got this deal for $150 to go to Cabo or something. And again, I'm not against it if that's what you do or you feel like you deserve it. But the question, I suppose, is if we keep doing what we see other people who are in the same income or lower than us, then we're never going to break out of the income that we're in. We're never going to exceed or go beyond it if we keep doing what everyone around us is doing, right? And everyone around you, I can promise you, is not living below their means, right? So people will always have money for what they want to have money for. And there's a saying, people always have money for beer and cigarettes. And again, I have nothing against beer, I have nothing against cigarettes, right? But we do tend to have money for the things that we want to have money for. I said it earlier, if you could live off of 40%, but if you Google it and you look at like how much should my mortgage payment be relative to my income, and mortgage brokers and real estate agents and everyone, they're going to tell you 28%, right? So if you make $10,000 a month, then they're telling you that you can have a mortgage payment of $2,800. Like, that is giving me hives. Like, that literally just is just saying that out loud completely freaks me out. If you make $10,000 a month, you don't make $10,000, right? You have to pay taxes. So that's what, 35%? So that's not 10,000. So now you have $6,500, and then you've got health insurance and whatever else is coming out of your gross income, right? And then you're going to put 2,800 of that towards a mortgage, not to mention utilities, not to mention things that need to get fixed around the house because now you're a homeowner, not to mention a car payment, health insurance, like blah, 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 right? So the question is, can you reverse it? Can you invest 40% of what you make and live off of 20%? And when I say live off of 20%, I mean everything, your mortgage or your rent, your utilities, your car payment, your cell phone. Like, can you live off of 20% for a short period of time, so that way you can invest 40%? And then imagine where your life could be in 3 years or 5 years, and your 20% that you're living off of is not 10,000, but it's 20,000 a month, or it's 40,000 a month, or it's 60,000 a month, because you're just putting that much more into it, right? Because if your living expenses are 40 or 50% of your gross income, then what are you putting aside for retirement? $500? Like 5%? And how are we going to live off of putting away 5% of our income if you can barely live off of your income right now? So the expression is, we can either live with the pain of discipline, or we can live with the pain of regret. And either way, there's pain, right? But the first one, the pain of discipline, is something that you can control, and you can control in your everyday life. But we don't get to control the pain of regret. We don't get to control that later on. And I don't know if it's a saying or not, but it's okay to be old and it's okay to be broke, but it is not okay to be old and broke. Like right now, if you're younger, these are your working years, then you can work, right? You can do your side hustles. You can do whatever it is to make yourself more valuable, so that way you can earn more money. But as we get older and older, that unfortunately does get more and more limited. And so the question is, can you live with the pain of discipline now, so that way you don't have to live with the pain of regret later? I know that this wasn't the most I hope it was still uplifting, right? Because that means that you have control over your life. I'm sure this probably won't be the most popular video, but if you can learn to do little things to live below your means and then invest that money, grow that money, then that means that you can live off of the same percentage, but that pot of money is just going to continue to grow, and then you can do all those things that you have dreamed about doing. I hope that this provides a little bit of insight, a little bit of hope, and a little bit of encouragement. Thank you so much for joining us.